And welcome back to Music Free Gaming. Today, in this Create Mod tutorial, I'm going to show you how to harvest every tree in Minecraft. It's simple, it's fast, and let's get to it. To start, dig a 3x3 hole and put a water wheel in the middle. Place a block in the corner, and then water next to that block so the water wheel spins. Once the wheel is spinning, add a mechanical bearing. This is what's going to drive the contraption. Next, build an 11 by 11 area centered around your mechanical bearing. This can be grass, it can be dirt, anything you can plant a sapling on will work just fine. Next, place a barrel on the mechanical bearing and some temporary blocks running along from the back of the barrel to the edge of your field. Place mechanical saws against your temporary blocks. Next, place 2 blocks on top of your barrel. And then add a deployer next to the top block. Now this is probably going to be facing the wrong way. That's okay. Just right click on it with your wrench so that it points down. This should be in use mode. Then you can add 4 more deployers so you have 1 over each mechanical saw. Once those are in place, remove the temporary blocks at the back of your contraption. Now you can use super glue to glue it all together. So just right click on the outside saw, go all the way over to your barrel. Right click from the barrel up to the top, and then from that top block all the way across your deployers. The last thing you need to do to get this ready is add a sapling to the filter of each deployer. This will ensure that the deployer will only try to place saplings in the ground. You can use any sapling you want, but this farm works best with your smaller trees. That's oak, birch, cherry, that type of thing. 2x2 trees like spruce or jungle, dark oak, those types of things don't work as well in this farm. Once those filters are set, add some saplings to the barrel. Now we can start this farm up. Go ahead and remove one of the grass blocks around your mechanical bearing, and then with an empty hand, right click on the bearing. Your contraption will start spinning and start planting saplings. Now let's use a little bone meal to grow one of these trees. All right, the tree is grown. Watch what happens when the contraption hits it. It has now cut down the tree. And if you right click on this barrel, you can see that it has oak logs. Now you gotta be careful because these mechanical saws, if they hit you while you're in survival, will definitely want to cut you in half. Now, if you're okay dodging the saw blades, then you can be done. All of the output will be here in the barrel. However, it is possible to pull out the output automatically. So let's go ahead and stop this by right-clicking on the bearing. Any saplings that are under the saws when it stops will be broken, and that's fine. Now let's add a couple of things to make this automatically collect. The first thing we need to do is add a portable storage interface to the end of our machine. And then we need to glue it to the deployer. So if you want to run the glue all the way across, that's fine. It doesn't matter if you glue it to the first deployer or all the way across. Next, add a couple of temporary blocks and add another PSI. And then we can remove the blocks. Place a chute under the PSI that's off your machine, and then add some storage. I'll use a barrel. You can use a chest, a vault, whatever it is you want. Now let's come back, right-click on the bearing, and restart the machine. We'll see what happens here. It'll cut down those oak trees. And hey, we got a nice big one here waiting for us. See, now let's cut that down. Now watch what happens when this swings around towards this PSI. See how they go kissy-kissy there? And now it will output everything it harvests. This includes logs, this will include sticks, apples in the case of oak trees, and potentially saplings. But the saplings are first going into the deployers so that it can replant any saplings that get cut down or any trees that grow from a sapling when it's cut down. This works great for the smaller trees, but doesn't work all that well for the 2x2 trees. This includes dark oak, spruce, jungle, right? Those trees are potentially going to have a problem. Spruce in particular does not like it when there are other things around the saplings that try to grow. If it's going to get in the way of the leaves, the spruce tree doesn't grow. Fortunately, there are other ways of doing this. We're going to start by adding a bunch of 2x2 sections of grass. Now you can make this as long as you want, but I'm going to start with just 4. Next, come out about 4 blocks from either end of your farm. Place a powered rail next to each of those blocks and run regular rail in between. Now, if you have a longer farm, you might need to come in and place a powered rail in the middle with some redstone or something underneath that. I think I will do that here, and then we'll get on with the next phase of this. Come to one end of your track, and on one of the powered rails, place a cart assembler. Then come out a couple of blocks and add some temporary blocks on the side. Then we're going to add barrels, so we have 5 of them going across, and then you can remove the temporary blocks. Next, add mechanical saws to the barrels. Now, if you crouch and place them, it will place them backwards, so just use your wrench to flip them around. Then come around the back and place them on the back side as well. From your center barrel, add 2 blocks. Then coming off the side of those blocks, we're going to add deployers. Again, if you place them and they end up pointing the wrong way, just use your wrench to rotate them so that they are pointing down. Finally, add a portable storage interface. Again, if you crouch and place it so it'll go against the barrel, it'll face the wrong way. Just hit it with the wrench so that it points out. Then add a couple of blocks, add another portable storage interface, and then we'll drop a chute underneath it, and we'll take some storage under there. Again, we'll just use a barrel for this example, but you can use whatever storage you want. Finally, glue the contraption together. Next, take your saplings, we'll use dark oak saplings in this case, and set your filters. And then add a handful of saplings to one of the barrels. It doesn't matter which one, the contraption will pull from all of them. Now we want to reach under here, right click on this center, see this little center swirly thing? Right click on that and set it to lock rotation. What this means is that the contraption, as it moves back and forth, will always be in this orientation. If you set it to always face towards motion, as it comes back, this machine will spin around. Now that's okay, but it gets to be a problem as it tries to spin around. It doesn't always catch the logs properly and things like that. So go ahead and just lock the rotation. Now it's time to get this machine ready to move. Come down to the opposite end of your machine, place a torch, and light up the powered rail. Next, come over to your contraption. Place a minecart inside the cart assembler. Using the lever on the back, turn the system on. Now this is turned into a contraption connected to the portable storage interface. If you've left saplings in the contraption, they'll end up in this barrel. That's okay, we'll worry about that in a minute. Let's go ahead, crouch, and using your wrench, right-click on the cart assembler to remove it. Now the minecart will go back and forth. When it comes back, right-click on the barrel, drop your saplings in it, and see how it planted those for you? Awesome. Now again, this will come back and offload saplings and whatever else you've got going on here. Now you can see I've got a dark oak tree growing. As the machine comes through, see, it cut through the tree, and as it comes back, again, it'll connect to the portable storage interface, and we've got dark oak logs, we have some apples, we also have some sticks. And there we go. This will work for any of your 2 tall trees. Now, the reality is, this will actually work for any tree. That's right. You could plant birch or cherry trees or acacia or whatever you want to here instead of the dark oak saplings. And they will grow and everything will be wonderful. If you're planting something that is not one of the two tall variants, you could fill in the gaps between these 2x2 blocks, and it will use all of that space as well. Now, between these two farm designs, you can handle just about every tree in Minecraft. Just about. The one tree that is going to give you all sorts of grief is mangrove. Let's take a look at how mangrove works. So let's take a propagule and grow a mangrove tree. Mangrove trees grow with all of these roots, and the tree itself is way up there. It's a real pain in the neck. But Create Mod handles this in actually a really cool way. Let's take a mechanical saw, and we'll place it right here next to one of the roots. Then add a hand crank to it, and let's just crank the saw. See how it broke the mangrove tree? All we had to do was cut down one leg of the grown mangrove. Well, that means we could actually use a similar design to like a rotational farm for mangrove. So here we have a similar contraption to what we have over there with the oak farm. In this case, I've set the filter to Propagule, and I only have a single deployer. You could add more deployers, but mangrove trees don't put out a lot of Propagules. So what you could see is that if you have a lot of deployers, you can run out of Propagules very quickly. Let's go ahead and add a stack of these here. And now let's get this machine going. There you can see the Propagules are planted. Let's go ahead and make one of these guys grow. Now as the saw comes through, right, as it hits the roots, let's grow another one. As it hits the roots as it goes by, it will harvest the tree. And you'll get your mangrove roots, your logs, moss carpet, and sticks. Now the problem is you will also get all of the Propagules. Mangrove trees do not put out a lot of Propagules, so you could be seeing an issue where your farm spins, but it has no Propagules left. One thing you could do to try to keep the Propagules in your farm is to replace this chute with a smart chute, okay? Then take a list filter, add a Propagule to it, and then set this to deny. And then add that to your smart chute. What this will do is ensure that Propagules will not get exported out of your farm. So as this goes by, it'll dump the logs, the sticks, right, all of this stuff, but no Propagules. So let's go ahead and add these into the farm and let this spin. Now, as this spins around, it still has a bunch of Propagules in the barrel, but none of them are going to get dropped here. Let's go ahead and grow up another tree. Okay, as that breaks, you see, we're getting the roots, we're getting logs, but we're not getting the Propagules. Those are all staying in the barrel. Okay, so now this is great, and as long as you don't fill the barrel with Propagules, this machine should continue to run. Unfortunately, it still may run out of Propagules. If that happens, you'll have to set up another way of getting Propagules, right? Bone mealing mangrove leaves, right? Something like that, so that you can add them to the farm. The good news is we can add those Propagules to the farm automatically. Take a temporary block and then place a portable storage interface on the block, okay? This should line up with the PSI that's on the machine, okay? Now go ahead and take a chute and place it on top of the PSI, and let's add a barrel on top of that as well. Now, you can feed this chute any way you want to. You could also have a belt coming into a funnel, right? However you want to. But now you can take some Propagules, right? Let's just take a stack, right? They're going to move down this way, and if we check this machine, our stack is now here. Okay, let's do that again so we can see that. Let's throw another stack in there. And now we have another stack here in the contraption. This will allow you to feed more propagules into this machine just in case it runs out. Yeah, just set up your own little propagule farm out here, add the propagules as you need them, and let it rip. Just be sure you only have enough propagules to run the farm, because if you fill the barrel, it won't harvest the materials anymore. So there we go. Now you have 3 different tree designs which can harvest any tree in Minecraft using Create Mod contraptions. If you like automatically harvesting trees or just watching the trees burst into dust when the contraptions hit them, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Let me know if there's something else you want to see harvested, another farm you want to see. And of course, like the video, subscribe to the channel for more Create Mod tutorials and to catch my live streams. And until next time, be excellent to each other. And this is Music Free Gaming, signing off.